Ndị be anyị ekenekwanụ m unu. Anyị sị ka nke onye chiri ya zelu. Anyị sị ụbọchị nketa adịrị na anyị na mma na ihe a dịka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ. Otu anyị kwuru ya otu akọ ya dịrịrị. Ise 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 anyị dịka o si dị ihe a bụkwa Eastern News 24 ka anyị si na-ewetara ya bụ ozi nje gị n'ugbu a n'iru akwụkwọ gbasịta maka ya bụ ife na-ada na-akpọtụ n'obodo anyị nọ n'ime ya adụmụrụ ụwa na-azụ n'ala Igbo. Anyị dịka o si dị tupu anyị aga n'iru gosi ya bụ ihe maka nnukwu update when I mean a very mighty good news to the land of Biafra and to ndị Igbo. Ịghọtago biko ọ wụla anyị chọrọ ịyọ tupu anyị egosiri ya bụ ihe ka unu gee ịbụrụ onye Igbo gee ntị n'ihe a. Ihe a bụ one of the world expert analysis ife ọ kọwalụ gbasịta maka the next move and the next fate for Maazị Nnamdi Kanu case na Federal Republic of Nigeria. Alright, ya bụ ife ka eji maka ya wee bịa. So tọọ ntị na ọfụma ka ị gee his own opinion and the next move for Maazị Nnamdi Kanu. Ị ga-esi ya bụ ife dropụra ife uche n'ụdị nke gị. Alright, over to you, sir.
In his own hands. After his open rebuke of Justice Bintanyako last week, he, on the 14th of February, penned an open letter to the public, lamenting the executive interference and judicial indifference or collusion with the executive. Is it now a question of, thus far, no further for Nnamdi Kanu's trial? This is the Eastern Eye. I'm Alex Obodo. Welcome to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV. It's a program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. Joining me tonight is also Barrister Nnamdi Kanu. He is a constitutional lawyer and, of course, a community leader. Barrister Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu has been in the news 2 weeks back to back, and I would like PCR to put up that letter. Let's just take a look at it, beginning from the first page of it. So let's see. So his open letter to the public. It says, "Greetings to all men and women of goodwill in Nigeria and elsewhere in the world. I have been compelled by events of the past few days to take the unusual step of writing this open letter for the singular purpose of calling the attention of the public to the serial executive and judicial fraud being perpetrated against me since my extraordinary rendition in 2021. So he now went ahead to pen a whole lot of lengthy stuff that, yes, of course, there's no way I'll read it. It's just lengthy. So the long and short of it, Nnamdi Kanu has bared his heart and his mind on an open letter. So for someone on trial, what is this?
Well, for someone on trial, this is like one taking one's fate in one's own hands. You know, Nnamdi Kanu had or have legal representation all the while. A greater number of those doing them pro bono. You can see that of Jimako. You can see that of the other young man from what's his name. Now these people have been representing him all the while in court. But if you watch the scenario of what happened last week in open court, even while the judge was still sitting, he opened up and said, "I want to take his fate in his own hands. Let him defend himself. Let him talk how he feels." You see, when you have two different laws for two different sets of people in one country in brackets, you find out that this is the kind of thing you expect to be happening. Because we can recall that in this platform of Afia TV, we have discussed the Attorney General's enter of Nole for the Mieti Allah suspect that was being tried for terrorism and reasonable felony. We have also seen the discharge of the case of Igbo in the southwest. Now ask yourself, what is so special about Nnamdi Kanu's own? Nnamdi Kanu, when he said the husband and the son of Justice Nyako is being tried for corruption somewhere, and that they gave him a condition that she should jail him so that the son and the husband could be set free. So we began to dig whether it is true or not, and found out it is true. Now, that's by the way. The judge also recused herself following Nnamdi Kanu's protest last year. I think that was around between November or September or thereabouts. The judge said, okay, since you don't want me to try you, I will not try you. That is what you call recusing yourself. She recused herself. Now, the file was returned to the chief judge of the Federal High Court for reassignment to another judge, or even to himself. Nothing stops him assigning to himself. After all, they are all judges. The difference is that this one is the eldest. Otherwise, they are primus. He's just a mere primus inter pares among judges. He cannot even overrule a fellow judge because all of them have the same power. But administratively, somebody should be at the administrative level. The chief judge of the Federal High Court is at the administrative level. So when the case was returned to him, the rumor mill says that many judges rejected the file. That's the rumor mill. It wasn't in the judge's own hands. He didn't write it down, because if we had written that, we could have known a judge that will be assigned a case and say he will reject it. Now, even if all the judges reject it, why not take it on yourself? Since Nyako has recused herself, now you sent it back to Nyako. That is when Nnamdi began to smell a rat. Because what is so special about Nyako? Is she not just a judge like every other judge? Why must she be the one that the file will be going, you recuse yourself, you bring the file back to the same judge? No. What makes Nyako so special to try Nnamdi Kanu's matter? Now, Nnamdi has no other option other than to write an open letter. So let Nigerians see how he is faring with his trial. Let Nigerians see it. Now, as a lawyer, at least any lawyer that is above 20 years post-court is no more a young lawyer, because some people call a young barrister. I'm not a young barrister. Mm-hmm. So I think my take home from this very trial is that it is no more prosecution of a suspect, let me put it that way. It's no more prosecution of a suspect. It is now persecution of a suspect. Because why do I say it is persecution? Persecution in the sense that, number one, you have an illegal act which you committed to bring Nnamdi Kanu to Nigeria. That is rendition. It is illegal, both under international law and our own law. But then it happened under Buhari. And Buhari, like all we know, is a man of rendition. He tried to rendition Umar Diko when he was a military head of state. But the able eye of British police, the American police, I think it was American police also, I think British, they caught him and then opened the crate. Lo and behold, it was Umar Diko that was created in a crate, about to be taken back to Nigeria, or a diplomatic bag. Because according to Buhari, he was indicted in a military tribunal that was set to try politicians who held sway in Nigeria between 1979 and 1998, when they had their coup. Now, they tried something with Nnamdi Kanu. A plane flew into Kenya, got Nnamdi arrested. Whatever way they used to hypnotize and put him into a plane and bring him to Nigeria, only them knows. Even though Kenyan government says they are not even aware that the plane came to Nigeria, but that is also a falsity, because every plane that takes off from any airport in the world
has a destination.
Yes, it is known. just like a ship. Any ship that takes off from any port in the world, there is a monitoring mechanism for ships, just like there are for planes. So telling us that they don't know that the plane came to Kenya and took Nnamdi Kanu is neither here nor there. But let us leave Kenya out of it. Let us look at the people that orchestrated the mass rendition to Nigeria. Now, having been rendition to Nigeria, the question is, what stops you assuming you rendition illegally? And you can recall also that there are about 1 or 2 court orders or court judgments telling them to release Nnamdi Kanu. And in all these things, the federal government has never faulted. Either way, they will say they will draft a new charge. If court discharges you of a given charge for which you were arraigned in court, and you are still kept by the security agencies 1 minute after that order, it's a illegal detention. And if you sue for it, for false imprisonment, you could recover in damages. But this one, nobody cares. They bring the man, they try him, they discharge him, they say they hold him, they bring another charge tomorrow. So these things are things why the man now has to take the laws into his hands and satisfy himself.
But what will be the implications of this in judicial terms? Because I'm sure if it doesn't have a consequence, it should have. There must be an effect of this. Do you think, because you analyze now that it looks like no judge wants to accept the case. So is it more like saying that this is the dead end for the trial?
No, it is not. See, the implication is that the man has thrown himself into the court of public opinion. Let the world see what is happening with me. And we can jolly well know that this letter did not just stop in Nigeria. This letter has gone viral. It is almost all over the world. World leaders have seen the letter and they know. And they find out that you are measured as a national leader by your respect for human rights. If Tinubu as a president, if I am to advise him, but at the very first onset of his administration, if I were to be his legal advisor, what I could advise him is to order the release of all those people being tried on self-determination charges. Because ordinarily, under both international law and national laws of the states, it's not a crime. If somebody says, I want to live where I belong, the Nigerian constitution gives freedom of association. So if you say, I don't want to associate with Nigeria again, it's not part of freedom of association. Remember the Supreme Court has interpreted dissemination of information, knowledge and whatever in the constitution to mean that you are free to set up private universities. Because private universities were being set up here and there. Federal government started to clamp down on some of the private universities. They went to court. And Supreme Court interpreted it to mean that dissemination of information and this for whatever reason also includes setting up university, because this university you are getting knowledge there and there are information being displayed there. And that also gives rise to displaying of some of these private electronic and print media. Like we are here now. Ordinarily before it was the MTA that had the monopoly. Yeah. So what I'm saying in effect is that if the president has been advised rightly, I think what he could have done in the first thing that when we were releasing Boho and the other Mietiala young man, he could have also said, Nnamdi Kanu, go home and see no more. If you want to carry out your demand for self-determination, follow international best practices. There are guidelines. Go to the United Nations, seek two-thirds majority, or find any of the Security Council henchmen, the one that once they can veto anything, get just one. Let that one come and speak on your behalf, on the behalf of the country you are asking for, under the United Nations Charter. Then go and organize a referendum in your own area. Let us know how many people want to live and how many people don't want to live. So, but you also find out that people are saying that the rumor mills making the rounds is that the stakeholders in the southeastern part of Nigeria, in fact, the eastern region of Nigeria, doesn't also want Nnamdi Kanu released.
Yeah, that's a very disturbing thing to. I mean, it's been moving around, but in what way would they be benefiting from his continuous detention?
Yeah, let me tell you how they will be benefiting. You see, there are two groups of people that control the masses: the state actors and non-state actors. The state actors are the ones purportedly, in bracket, voted into power. They are the state actors. Non-state actors are like people like Nnamdi Kanu and the NGOs. They are the non-state actors. Now, you will find out that most of the time, if the non-state actors gives a directive, people obey it to the letter, including this sit at home that I refuse to go in the southeast. Even if the urban areas now don't observe sit at home, we go to the villages, they are all sitting at home on Mondays. No school opens. The teachers will tell you it is better I will be alive and my salary deducted than I'll be a dead person and nobody pays me anything. So you find out that who gave that instruction for sit at home every Monday? Not state actors. Now state actors have said, disobey it, come to work. I will deal with you if you don't come to work. Yet they are still being disobeyed. So there is likelihood that if Nnamdi Kanu is released, he will rupture the political setting for some of these state actors.
So could this be the reason why it is convenient for the federal government to keep him in detention?
Oh, see, the federal government, Tinubu as a president, doesn't drink beer with me in the streets of Zikebene. He doesn't chill with us in ShopRite, but he stays in Asorok. Everywhere he needs is in Asorok. So he's fed. The information he's given, where he's sitting, is the information he's going to work with. If they tell him, no, the man comes out, nobody is safe in the southeast, he will believe them because they are the people who get access to him. Me and you doesn't have access to Tinubu. But the state governors of the eastern region, beginning from Enugu to Bayelsa, they have access to the governor, to the president. The ministers, including the former minister of, for example, including the incumbent minister of what do you call it, works, and the incumbent minister of federal capital territory. You know, these are people who doesn't want to hear about Nnamdi Kanu. Even when the minister of works was the governor of Ebonyi State, he was going to tell you Ebonyi is not part of BIAFRA. So if these people are there, surrounding the president, you don't really know that president will always listen to them, thinking that they have the voice of the people, not knowing that they don't.
So one would deduct from the letter Nnamdi Kanu is writing for public opinion to help him, or maybe the whole discussion will now sway the hand of justice. Is that what it is?
No, well, I think, first of all, it is the public opinion to assist. The hand of justice has a procedure. The open letter is not filed in court. So court has no need. Court cannot make use of something that is not before it.
Well, obviously, he didn't intend that to be in the court. I think there is an adage around here about that, about an animal crying, not to be saved, but for the whole to hear him.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, what outcome do you think Nnamdi Kanu is expecting with what he did at the court last week and the letter he also wrote on the 14th of February?
What he is expecting is political solution to his problem.
So has he said that? Is he plainly asking for that?
No. You see, one thing is that, remember, Nnamdi Kanu most of the time has said, if I have accepted to have an oil well, I could have still been released. If I have accepted to abandon the Biafra struggle, I could still have been released. If I had accepted to be the vice president, to of the presidential candidate, I could still have been released. But these things does not inure to the comfort of my people, and that is why I rejected it. So when you follow most of the things the young man say, you find out that they want that kind of. Remember, Wazika was incarcerated. Do you remember? Somewhere along the line, Wazika, curtailed, and that gave rise to the rise of Nnamdi Kanu. Now, Nnamdi Kanu now of rendition, that gave rise to Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa was detained in Finland. That gave rise to Mrs. Orabweze. Orabweze now also finding some. If you follow this BIAFRA trend, you find out how the scenario works. Most of these things are in social media. You read them off. Now, what I'm saying in effect is that keeping Nnamdi Kanu ad infinitum in detention doesn't even help anybody. Rather, to be painting the federal government as a government that does not respect human rights. Remember, they also clamped down on Showere. Showere is also not. Showere not claiming for talking about self-determination. He's talking about a new Nigeria, just like P2B. But he's talking his own in an activist way. So that was why he was arrested and trying to say this is wrong. The IG's continuous stay in office is illegal and so on. So they clap on him, charge him for one offense or the other, and the condition is good. He's not going to fulfill the condition because the condition has been outlawed by the Court of Appeal, telling people to bring civil servants. Now, Showere, I think he's not in detention for now. Benefit Rintimi has also raised his voice, crying for this kind of torture and abuse of human rights. And he was also detained briefly. And in detention, now saw the sale of his books. So, the same way, this is Nnamdi Kanu's detention. The federal government is indirectly making Nnamdi Kanu an eternal hero of the Biafran struggle. That is how I see it. Because if you keep on detaining the young man, what you are telling the world is that he is the arrowhead of a group of people who want to leave Nigeria. And the world now know that he exists. But if you have played the kind of Obasanjo, General Wazuke's time, people would have forgotten about it and the kind of by now. So they are indirectly popularizing the man by keeping him perpetually in detention. So whoever don't know about him, I can now know about him. But if they have brought him from Kenya, maybe try him for 2-3 weeks, 1 month, and then give judgment that, like giving the judgment that he has committed no offense and let him go. But whatever he does it within the ambits of the law. By now, some people could have said who is Nnamdi Kanu by the way. So, but for the fact that they kept keeping the young man in detention, they are soaring his popularity. They don't know indirectly. Because if they were talking about the Obasanjo syndrome to Wazuke called for sit-at-home when Obasanjo was in power. And the foreign press called on Obasanjo was asking Obasanjo, we thought this issue of Biafra be arrested. One young man has arisen again and said, let people sit at home, and everyone sat at home. Even that day, Tinubu, that day, Tinubu was still the governor of Lagos State. He was forced to appear on national television begging the Igbos to come and open their shops, even by 4 p.m. when Wazuke called for sit at home. Now, Obasanjo was cornered by the foreign press. He told them he doesn't know about the sit at home. But what he knows is that the Igbos were celebrating their New Year festival. So people laughed over it. And the person was called for a second that was not going to obey him because he was never detained. Obasanjo just ignored him. So do you see how Obasanjo now kicked the man? Now Buhari is usually crude way felt that detention is always the best option for everything. It doesn't. It doesn't work like that.
All right. We will take a quick break. When we return, I'll find out exactly where there seem to be cold shoulders from the Southeast political elite. Is it a problem or a solution? Stay with us. Back to the Eastern Eye here on Afia TV, the program that x-rays the political, social, and economic developments around us. My name is Alex Abodo, and we're reaching you live from Enugu, Southeast Nigeria. So I still have other barrister Nadume of Fokansi here with me. So a lot of people are alleging that there is a conspiracy of silence in the southeast regarding the detention of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. What we've seen, they are analyzing that a governor will go to the president and come out and say, I asked the president for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So, but we haven't seen them as a front asking for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Do you think that that allegation is founded?
Yes, I think it's founded because if you say something is sweet, you say what it tastes like. There is an adage in Ogulog, my village, that says, if you say that the head of Wobochi is light, go and test, carry it. So, the Wobochi of a person has a very big head naturally. So, if you feel that you are working to release Nnamdi Kanu, what stops you when you are talking to the president, having it on tape?
Well, that's just a problem with that. Normally, when you talk with presidents, it's not on TV, except it's something that is meant to be televised. Okay. This is not me speaking for the presidential villa. For the standard practice, you will come out and tell the people what you discussed, or what was agreed that was discussed.
That's all right. If you come out to tell us what was agreed or what was discussed, there is a presidential spokesman. All right. And if you have had a meeting, a robust meeting with the president, you come out, there are some officials of the Rock, that even will come with you to address the press. Not that we don't believe the Southeast leaders, but because over time, they have shown us that they will say one thing and do another, especially where the welfare of our people is concerned. But the catalog of the hanky-panky statements are legion. I don't want, if I start here now, I cannot even leave this program today. But what I am saying is that if you are working for your people, I don't believe any non-state actor can turn the table against you if you're actually working for your people. Why do I say that? If, for instance, Nnamdi Kanu comes out and tells people that they like Soti,
ndị be anyị ngwadalụ ụlọ ine dịka unu si wee na-esoro anyị n'ụbọchị nke taa, gịnị ka ị nwere ikwu n'ụdị nke gị gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile nọ n'iru akwụkwọ drọpụrụ anyị ife iche na kọment sekshọn biro ebe esi wedotere ya bụ ozi na Eastern News 24. ngwanụ ka emesịa nụ ndị ụmụnne m ka bụkwa na-alụ, stay tuned maka ya ka na-ewetara unu more update gbasịta maka ka ya bụ ife si aga na ka ya bụ ife si akpọtụ n'obodo nọ n'ime ya. ngwanụ ka emesịa nụ ụmụnne m.